I am Max Keiser. This is, of course, the Max Stacy Invitational at the Alan Cono Country Club in El Salvador. And we've got a very special guest to lay out for you something that is growing in popularity by leaps and bounds. It's the next frontier. Introduce yourself.
I'm Noah Houghton, CEO of Bitbacked.
Right. Bitbacked is, what is Bitbacked?
Sure. It was born out of a story of pain and a big mistake I made, Max, which I've made a lot in life, but this led to Bitbacked. But it was back in 2021, Bitcoin law passed, came down here, went to ground zero, had the good fortune meeting with Mike Peterson and
The
Jim
ground
Barra.
zero meaning El Salvador.
El Salvador,
for
ground
the Bitcoin
zero.
revolution.
Yes. Freedom
the
country.
sovereign Bitcoin.
Yes.
Okay, came
and
here.
then to El Zante.
And were you baptized in the Pacific? Did I baptize you in
No,
Church
I need
of
it.
Satoshi?
We have water here. Shall we?
I might do. Maybe I'll throw you in after this little bit. That might
Okay.
be good to cleanse your soul of shitcoinery.
I need
Were you a
it.
shitcoiner? What
No,
was the problem?
no,
How
no,
did
a
you destroy
Bitcoiner.
your life?
A Bitcoiner.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you lost it?
No, I sold it. I sold my Bitcoin, fell in love with El Salvador.
Oh, no.
The people,
Yeah.
what the guys were doing at Bitcoin Beach, Hope House, what they're doing for the kids.
Yeah.
Wanted to spend more time, wanted to spend more time down here. I brought my wife, my kids, got them down in the beach in El Zante, covered them with the black volcanic sand, and they were like,
wow.
took them a day to clean them off. But essentially fell in love with the place.
Right.
And my partner now in Bitbacked, he and I came down looking for real estate.
Right.
To buy, to make a second home. And this was back in 2024, mid 2024. And we were sort of like a lot of Bitcoiners, heavy into Bitcoin, very low into dirty fiat.
Right.
So we had a decision to make. We found some great property, and it was either sell our Bitcoin.
Right.
The mantra, never sell your Bitcoin.
Right.
We convinced ourselves, we deluded ourselves that, the only reason to sell your Bitcoin is to buy real estate in Bitcoin country, which we did. So we sold it, I think in August 2024 at, 60,000. Then 3 months later up to 95. And
Right.
we said, okay, big mistake. We made a big mistake, and why did we do it? And we sort of boiled it down to three things. Why we didn't borrow against Bitcoin at the time.
All right. What's number one?
Number one, the high touch, high value, sort of a founder-led approach to lending. We founded Bitbacked, myself and two founders. Every loan that's originated, one of us takes the lead on it. And we'll customize the loan to the terms. We have longer term lengths, and we focus on, higher values.
So it's like a white glove approach.
White glove,
a boutique
yes.
approach.
Yes.
You're one of the three founders is involved in every loan, essentially is what you're
Yes.
saying. What was number
Yes.
two?
Number two, transparency and verifiability. A lot of the platforms, you'll send your collateral and you're only, it's sort of trust us. Log into our website and you'll see a number, which should be your Bitcoin collateral. We weren't comfortable with that, So everything we do, it's on chain. So you send your collateral, it's held with a third-party licensed regulated custodian. It goes into the wallet, verifiable 24/7, 365 on chain. It sits there until the time the loan's over. So you can verify it any second of the day. So that was number two. Number three was rates. The rates are egregious, right? Like Bitcoin is the most pristine collateral that's ever descended upon Mother Earth. Right? And if you look at the lending rates, it's outrageous. And why is it outrageous? Because a lot of our competitors, the lenders, they're sourcing capital from the TradFi, the JP Morgans, the large institutions that either one, don't fully understand it, or some of the smart guys do understand it, and they see this period, this window to gouge, right? To gouge the interest rates. And so we came in, we're based in Cayman. It's a multi-family office. It's 11 families, all private capital. I wouldn't say all of them understand Bitcoin, but now most of them understand Bitcoin.
Right.
And they understand that Bitcoin, when we receive Bitcoin as collateral, you can't get any better collateral. Right? So we're able to offer lower rates, usually 2 to 3%. We're at 9.5 to 9.75% right now, which is still egregious, right? Over time, we will crunch this down. It should be the risk-free or lower than risk-free rate.
Right. Well, those
for a
rates
lender.
on the lending services not too long ago were in the mid-teens.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And I remember going back a few years, the rates to short Bitcoin were in like 30 and 40% on Wall Street. It was a very misunderstood asset at that time. So that's becoming mainstream. It's becoming TradFi. So rates should be commensurate with what you would get, at a more traditional institution. And so therefore now you have self-corrected. You are in the business of allowing people not to sell their Bitcoin, but to borrow against their Bitcoin to buy assets like housing. And it's a great place here in El Salvador to do it because the housing market itself is improving pretty dramatically. So you're getting a great hit on the upside of the market. What are your biggest? Who are your biggest users? Is it property buyers?
Yeah, there's two real use cases. It's property buyers. We're hyper focused on El Salvador, also a little bit in the Caribbean, but El Salvador is our main focus. Secondly, is Bitcoin. Bitcoiners that want to maximize their Bitcoin. We have a double your Bitcoin product where if you pledge, 200,000 worth of Bitcoin, we'll immediately buy another 200,000 worth of Bitcoin to your account. And then you pay the interest on it. So, a lot of those borrowers are like, well, Bitcoin's going to, appreciate more than 9.5% per year over the next decade. So as long as it's above 9.5, I'm in the black. So it's a great way to double your exposure if you're a true believer, which we all are. That's why we're here.
All right. So you're in El Salvador and you moved your family here.
No, not yet.
Not
I'm convinced.
quite yet.
I'm convinced yet. When my wife sees this, it'll be an extra push. But we're.
What's your wife's name?
Emily. Good to see you, Emily. We're moving down here.
Working hard, changing people's lives, giving them the experience of home ownership by allowing them to put up their pristine Bitcoin as collateral. And what is certainly security is not an issue for Emily because now the country is the safest in the hemisphere. So that is attracting families. A lot of families are here. It's very safe here. It's even getting safer.
Yeah.
And of course, the weather is great. Its proximity to the U.S. is good. It's only 2 hours away from Miami. And so you guys have an office here, essentially?
Yeah. We got 2 full-time guys on the ground here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how do you go about acquiring new customers?
Through different channels, a lot through real estate channels.
Right.
Working with great people like Ramon and Lexi at Good Life.
Right.
Just spreading the word through that. Working with some developers to let them know that it's a financing option. As you know, as an expat, coming to El Salvador and, you go to your realtor, you find property, you're like, okay, which bank should I go to?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, there are no banks you can go to for financing.
That's true.
So
the banking sector here is underdeveloped, for sure. Now, what drew you to the Max Stacy Invitational Golf Tournament?
You and Stacy, come on. I mean,
Right.
Is there anything else that's needed to draw? I mean, just, it's the same thing that drew me here originally or kept me coming back. It was the people, seeing the warmth, the love in the people, and then the taste of freedom when you touch down. I mean, when you touch down in El Salvador, you get off the plane, it must have been like California in the 40s and 50s.
Right.
It's open air. You can taste the freedom and the opportunity here, and the safety. Right?
Yeah, definitely. It definitely has that feeling of being like California or places that have on the cusp of a major new kind of period where people flock to those areas. It always attracts communities that are always on the move. The nomadic culture's been around longer than the non-nomadic culture. We're essentially nomadic people, humans. We like to travel around and go where the fishing is good.
Yes.
And so here in El Salvador, this has proven to be an incredible draw. So when people who are watching this right now, if they want to say, hey, you know what? Noah sounds like a pretty smart guy. I'm going to go down to El Salvador and check it out. What would be the 2 or 3 things you would tell them to help them get over the hump to book those, like Emily, for example? Has she been here?
Oh, she's been several times. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely loves it. The big thing, it was a good question you're asking with Emily, it's the family, leaving family behind.
Right.
And not being there all the time. So that's the only friction right
now.
But
they're into fiat.
Yes,
they
fiat
need
family.
to move. Everyone needs to move here.
Yes, yeah. Just we should get rid of
the wagon train was going out west. They took the family, the dog, the hamster. Everyone's got to go west.
That's
go
right.
West, young man.
It's the grapes of wrath.
That's what they said.
It's the grapes of
now
wrath.
You got to go to El Salvador. Would you think that's a fair?
I think that's a fair assessment.
Very fair.
Either go or be left behind. Right?
Yeah. What's the future? Bitbacked? Then another how's it growing? Are you growing?
Yeah, we're growing
rate?
organically, right? We're a small firm. We have private capital
Yeah.
behind us, so we're more focused on the longer term relationships. When we do a loan, it's for 2-3 years, and we want it to renew. So
Right.
we're more focused on the retention, obviously growth, but it's more on retention and higher dollar value loans, and being able to service those
So
customers.
when the loan matures, I have the option of rolling it.
Just roll it over.
I just
Yeah.
roll it over.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we don't want it to mature. There's
Right.
nothing worse than going out and getting another customer.
well, and it's not great for the user either, because I'd rather not pay any kind of gains.
Yes.
I mean, I'm deferring my cap gains if I
Yes.
have any in
Yes.
perpetuity.
Yes,
So
exactly.
I'm getting, this is how the people who sail around in 300-foot yachts, this is
Yes.
how they do it.
Live off financing their assets.
They just roll it.
Yes.
Keep rolling,
Roll it, baby.
rolling.
Let's roll it.
Let them doggies roll in, roll in. Right? Am I
That's
right?
it. That's it. You're right.
Let
You're
it
dead.
roll.
Spot on. Spot on.
Let's do the let it roll dance.
We're better than Trump. We're better than Trump, right?
Well, that's
All right.
been this edition of What the Hell's Going On at the Max and Stacy Invitational with me, Max Keiser, and Noah from Bitbacked. If you enjoyed this conversation, do the research. Don't be like
Yes.
Emily, sitting on a fence.
Yes.
Get off the fence and check it out. Till next time, bye, y'all.
See you later.